Welcome to Get Known, Be Seen Web TV. I'm your host, Trish Springsteen, and it's my delight to bring to you absolutely awesome guests. And today, my special guest is Leanne Blaney. Hello, Leanne. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Trish? And hello, everyone.
I'm awesome. We're awesome. And I'm looking forward to our conversation because people, I'll let you into a little secret. Leanne is a bucket list coach. Yeah, okay. I've put it in there a little bit quicker. So let's find out a bit more about Leanne, and then we're going to look at what she does and how she does it. So, Leanne Blaney, this is your life. Leanne has a business. It's a venture school for women, and she's an award-winning author of Balance. Ignite. Balance is a book that I want to talk about because I'm all about balance. And then she's an Ignite Your Life podcast host. This is a busy lady. Listen to this. A certified bucket list coach. And yes, I know you're going to say, oh, do you have to be certified? Well, no, but you've probably got to be certified to do some of the things on your bucket list. And an international speaker. She is your compass to assist you to create opportunities that give meaning to your chosen path, to set you up and help you self-manage. As a certified bucket list coach, she is trained to change your perception, wake you up, and support you to live a bucket list life. Leanne wants people to live a brave and limitless life, and her mission is to inspire individuals and business owners to break out of conformity and start designing their lives now. I love it. Out of conformity. It's what I'm about. Get out of this complacency we're in. Let's get moving. She does it through workshops, one-on-one mentoring, and group programs. Leanne will help you nurture solutions to develop your creativity, increase personal passion, prioritize self-care, and live a purposefully balanced life. Now, how many of us are not living a balanced life? Be honest, people watching this, I can see you say, balance? No, not happening. So, Leanne, welcome. How did we get to do all of that and still get out there? And you have a networking group as well that you're part with. You've got all sorts of things. So let's see. How did Leanne get to be, let's go, pink elephant in the room, a certified bucket list coach?
Well, it is a bit of a story, I suppose, but I was calling myself an adventure coach because when I started going through, I hit 40 thinking, what's happening with my life? What am I doing? Is there more than this than what I had at the moment? So I had to do a bit of research and a bit of development with myself to work out, well, what's going on here? What do I really want out of life? Because, it's so easy for us to say, I don't want this, I don't want that. But when you say to someone, what do you want? Well, I don't know. I've never really thought about that. So I started giving myself time and space to do that. And I realized that I loved adventure. And when I say adventure, I don't mean jumping out of a plane necessarily, because I don't want to do that. But I just mean living that life where you're doing different things each day, having things to look forward to, having that excitement and anticipation in your life. And that's why I was calling myself an adventure coach. And I came from that perspective where if I could just do this, have that always be forward looking, and that you don't sort of dwell on the past. You don't always think about yourself, or, you think about other things and getting yourself out there, and you're living this really happy life. Like most people just want to be happy, and I wasn't, so I wanted to be happy. So I went on that path. And then when I found this community of bucket list coaches, that's why I'm a certified one, because we are actually certified to be coaches to present the bucket list program, because it's just so exciting to get around there. In the 22 countries in the world, bucket list coaches everywhere there. And we've all got this mission to help, millions of people. My own personal mission is to help 200,000 people to become bucket listers, because I really feel that's what we need in life, is this, based on positive psychology, based on being happy, instead of dwelling on all these things that go wrong and the chaos that's in the world at the moment. So there you go. That's how I become a certified bucket list coach. And now I actually get to live that life as well as teach it to others.
Awesome. And people, it's not just people, individuals, isn't it? What you've done is from my perception that I understand, you've taken the step further, because you also take it into corporations, into businesses. So do you want to explain a little bit how you went from, everybody can get bucket lists, we all write our bucket list, it's all about travel, all experiences, and not just travel, but all sorts of experiences. But you have also then taken that extra step. So let's have a talk about that extra step.
Yeah, well, what I found is that a lot of, I came from a government background, and it was a really toxic sort of environment, and people weren't happy, and it was a power struggle, and you're all trying to do your own thing. It was all about you, and I didn't want to work together, and it wasn't a very happy place to go to. So this is where I wanted to take what I do with individuals into businesses and corporations and that too, because I mean, we know the mental health benefits of having a bonded team, to have a culture of positivity and something that's a common bond within each other. And I found that a lot of organizations just don't have that. And with the challenges of last year, a lot of them are even working from home, so they're even more disconnected. So there's so much disconnection out there. And, you know, with there's so much depression, and suicide rates have gone up and things like that. I really want to get this out there to more people, get them enjoying their life, you know, enjoying their job, because we need to work to get money, because we can't just sit at home, and then because we're not happy then either. So why not be happy when we go to work? And this is a program, the bucket listing is a filter that can actually help organizations, their teams. It helps the culture, helps the mental health benefits, it helps staff engagement, staff retention, all those positive things you hear about when you develop your staff. This is what the bucket listing does, and it really gets them excited about things and having something else to talk about or gossip about, because we know, you know, people tend to gossip, but it's having that excitement. Go, oh, what'd you do on the weekend? Did you tick anything off your bucket list? It's bringing that excitement into the workplace.
Awesome. Awesome. So how did you make those connections? I know you said you were in government, but then how did you get yourself known, be seen with something like people in corporation don't normally think? How did that work for you? How did you manage it? What challenges did you have?
Just getting out there, talking to people, you know, people taking it back to their workplaces, saying this is really cool, what we can do here, because everyone's looking now. Okay, we know that there's benefits in developing our staff. We know all the positive things that come out of that, but what can we do? There's a lot of stuff that we're sick of doing, this type of self-development. We're sick of doing that sort of stuff. I want something new and fresh and different. So when you start talking about the bucket listing, they're starting to say, oh, well, that would be something that will bring everyone together. They get them excited. They can do as a group. And then you actually learn more about each other as well. And when you do that, you start to understand better and you communicate better. So just by talking about it to different various people, influencers, people in business, get myself getting out there, that's how sort of organizations are starting to realize, well, this could be, you know, really a benefit as a personal development program for their staff.
Oh, it's brilliant. I love the way you've repurposed and leveraged something that was designed, and you started off with adventure for yourself, then got into being a certified coach, but still were probably around helping individuals to explore, and then repurposed and leveraged that because you saw a gap and went into that. That is an ultimate repurposing and leveraging. So awesome on that. I love it.
Thank
So
you.
you not only do that though, you do have a network group that you've been involved with a partner setting up. Why did you start that, and how has that helped you?
I think we started Ocean Network. I started it with a couple of friends, and now Kirsty Fields of Social Ocean, she's the other co-founder. We just decided that we weren't getting what we wanted out of other networking groups. It wasn't quite meeting our needs, and we just thought there needs to be something a little bit different. Like a lot of the networking groups I was going to were, okay, get up, do your 60-second elevator pitch, sit down again. You might get time to talk to one or two people, take a business card here or there, see a guest speaker, and then off you go. You'll go rushing out the door to go off and do what you need to do. So we found a need to really build relationships, because if you don't really know somebody, how can you refer them? Or like, I don't think we necessarily need to go to networking groups to get clients out of it. I mean, you can, but it's to build those relationships. So I can go, hey, I know somebody who can help you with your book, Trish Springsteen. You know, she does this because I've really got to know you. And so with the Ocean Network, we try to get to know people a little bit better by not doing the elevator pitch. We do 2 minutes of talking in groups of 4. So when you come regularly, you get to move around and get to know more people. You get educational speakers, so you'll learn something as well for your business. And then we really encourage people afterwards to set up those coffee chats to really get to know people even on another level. Because without others having that connection, I've found, yes, it's great to have your social media presence so people can stalk you on there, but it's so different doing the face-to-face and being, you know, involved in your community. You know a lot more what's going on. And I just think that makes your profile, like as you say, be visible, be seen. That's what really helps you, as well as being out there and getting with other people the same sort of, you know, business ideas and things that you've got.
That's awesome. And that's another, the networking is another way. So what will people, you need to stop and rewind right now, because what Leanne has been sharing with you, if you listen very carefully, is two different ways of getting out there, being seen. And also what she shared with you is how to look outside the box. You may have plenty of stuff that you've already got. You need to look and see how can you repurpose that to make it easier for your clients to find you. Leanne did that with her bucket list by going into corporation. She's also looked at how else can I be seen? It's not working for me. How can I work and find other ways? And has done that with Ocean Network in networking. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You've also got a book.
I do.
Tell us a little bit about your book and how did that get there?
Well, I'll show you the cover. And this is it's called Balance, Adventure School for Women at 40. And I wrote it for women at 40. I mean, I'm going to change it. So it is actually a book for everyone. But I wrote it because at 40, that was my pivotal time when I changed my direction in life. And what I found was everyone was talking about work-life balance. And I got really sick of that because I'm thinking, well, what's work-life balance? How can you say a one-size-fits-all? Because some people love to work. They really love their work. Other people need more time for their relationships. It's really a very external thing. So I wanted to write something where people thought about balance as that inner balance, because I really feel to have that happy life, to go out and do this bucket listing, you need to have that stability first. You need to be centered, grounded, able to cope with whatever comes at you. It's like what we've just had last year. You can tell who the resilient people were, who've got resilience in their life, who are grounded, who could actually go, oh, this is not working for me, I'll do something else. Where other people who don't have that groundedness, they weren't coping. And there was a lot of issues, mental health issues coming up. People not happy, they felt stuck. All these words were coming out, I'm stuck at home. But, I love it. I thrived at home because I just made sure I could do things differently. You thrive as well at home, I know. But I just wanted to have that book out there. It's a very foundational book, just an easy one for people to go through, do some exercises, get some ideas on how they can change their life from within. Because I really think it starts from within. It's really knowing who you are. And as I said earlier, what do you want out of life? And if you don't address all these things that are affecting you, how can you really work out what you want from your life and move forward?
Awesome. And that is the foundation, because you can't move forward unless you know, well, I talked about you can't move forward unless you know who you are, unless you believe in yourself, unless you know where you want to go. It doesn't work very well. You need that foundation.
Yes.
So how has that book helped you be able to get out there and be seen, to be able to talk about your bucket list, to be able to talk about Ocean Network? How's that book helped you?
Books are great because they're a very tangible product, because a lot of the stuff I do is not tangible. It's it's a service type thing. And sometimes people don't understand what you do. If you say coaching, people go, what does that mean? If you say, I've got a book that talks about the foundations of getting balance and your beliefs and where you want to go, they go, oh, let me have a look. And I can feel it, touch it, see it. And it's actually given me the opportunity to get a lot of speaking gigs and be a retreat facilitator, things like that, because this tangible product is a first step of people getting to know you, getting to trust you, getting to think, oh, I want to know a little bit more about her, and then follow up. Whereas if you go straight in, bang, I can help you with this, people go, whoa, I don't really know much about you. So I think it's that first step. It's a really great tangible product for you to have for your business.
I like that fact that you say it's a way of people getting to know you. I think that's an option that people don't realize with the book. They think about writing it or not writing it because they put a block up against it. They're not realizing that it breaks down those first doors, and it goes to basically your credibility to a certain extent, because it makes what you do real. And I love the concept about the balance. Balance is not a word that I always like, because people hear balance and I think it's got to be equal.
Yes.
And it doesn't.
No.
Balance just means that you've got parts of both and it makes a whole.
Yes.
No group. So I love that concept. So where can people find a copy of your book?
I've got it on my website, leanneblaney.com. I sell it on there. If they see me at an event, I've usually always taken my books with me, because I make sure, it always comes with me that I can show people, and I've got the opportunity of selling it there. But yeah, probably the easiest way is to go onto my website or just send me a message. I can always organise something through that as well.
Awesome. And there was a tip that just very casually dropped. So I'm going to highlight it so you didn't miss it. She takes her book everywhere.
Yes.
People I don't know how many authors I know who've written these beautiful books and they sit on their shelves. They don't take them with them. They don't shout it out. You've written a book, you've taken ages to do it. You need to just let everybody know you've got it. You don't have to be a pain, although sometimes it's great to say, hey, look, this is my book. Because if you don't tell people about your book, no one's going to know about your book.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to write your book?
Well, when I decided to write my book, I decided to have 3 months just to myself. And I even didn't have clients during that time. I thought, no, this is important for the model I want to get myself out there. So I just cut myself off for 3 months and I wrote it. I got it edited. I went through all the process of, I had a book coach at the time because I didn't really know much about how to put it up. Like, it's okay, the writing of the book, the structure in that, but to actually know, well, what do I do with it? What do I do with this document that I have now? How do I put it up? So I had someone to help me with that. But from the time I started it, I did in one weekend, I decided it was going to be called Balanced. I had all the structure of the chapters and everything. So that was one weekend. And then I just started writing. I did half a day every day. And then I did other things with my business. Obviously, I couldn't stop my business totally. But I just, kept it being consistent. Every day I did something. Even if at the days I didn't feel like it, I wrote a paragraph, or I wrote some notes about or did some research to put in it. And so 3 months after that, I had it up on Amazon. I got bestseller status, and then I put it in for these awards for independent publishers, and I won a bronze medal for it before the Pacific region, for Asia Pacific region, which I was really proud of because it shows that people really needed this sort of book and thought it was worthwhile.
And that's another gold nugget, people. We know and have been hearing all about awards. Some of us, in the last 5 years, it's been becoming more prominent that it's one way to get known and be seen. Go for Stevie Awards, go for business awards. You hear all of those. The one thing that a lot of people have forgotten and not even thought about is that there are book awards. And it's slowly coming into people's frame of mind that they are book awards, but they are. And what's the worst that can happen? You don't get nominated or you don't win anything. You just get nominated or just make it. But the best thing that could happen is you could get third somewhere, and then you've got something it's something to shout about for your book. It's another way of making sure that you as an author get known and be seen. And so it's something that I think we need to be pushing a bit more about book awards. They're an option. And I like book awards because basically just send me a freaking book. It's all about your book. Other awards, you've got to fill out loads and loads and loads of forms about who you are and your business. But the book, you stand by your book. And that's really great. It's awesome. I love it. I love something else that you do because people, I'm all about getting known and being seen, about finding ways to make it easy for your clients. Now, something that Leanne does with her bucket list is awesome. And I was talking to her just before we came on, because I think it's something that we need to think outside our book and other people could maybe use something similar. So do you want to tell us what it is?
Sure. So with the bucket listing, we have to be role models to actually say, hey, we're ticking things off our bucket list regularly, and this is how it affects our life and all the fun things that we do. So we have to show that. So what I do is I've got a little sign, and I'll just show you if I can get it to open up. I've got it the right way. Hashtag tick it before you kick it. You can see there's a little bucket list on there, bucket on it. What it does, it just makes my photos get more consistent, like when I go out there and achieving things. And I don't use it all the time. It's usually when I tick something off my bucket list. But when you do it regularly, people go, oh, she's ticked something else off a bucket list. And you get known, like I'm known as, the bucket lister, or that chick that does the bucket listing, people go, oh, what is she doing now? What is she up to? So to me, that sign is just a simple little thing just to have more consistency. When people see it, they go, oh, that's Leanne out doing something on her bucket list.
Awesome. And I love that because I always look for outside the box, and I'm thinking, not everybody, because some businesses won't work around that, but I think there are a lot of people out there that could think about having a small sign like that with maybe their motto, the tagline, whatever it is for their business. And, like Leanne said, you don't want to do it all the time because that's going to take some of the oomph out of it. But there are occasions where you could actually use that sign when you're having your photo taken. And as the use it judiciously, it starts to link people visually with you and your business, especially if you do a great tagline. And I think it's something we maybe need to have a think about. So there's a challenge, viewers. Think about how other ways. This is what I love about having people on. We talk to Leanne. Leanne does all sorts of things. We think about how can we take all those gold nuggets that Leanne shared with us and use them in our business? How can we pivot, change, tweak, and use them? So thanks for sharing that, because I think that's something people haven't thought about.
Yeah, I think it's important just to show that you're a little bit different, that, you know, how do you stand out from the crowd? Because there's so many people now out there doing stuff on social media. How do you stand out? And any little thing that you can get and, you know, connect to yourself so people think about you when you do it, I think that's really important.
And if you've got an author of a new book, just have your book there on that little sign and have it out there. It's awesome. Leanne, we could talk for ages. Absolutely. I knew we would be able to talk for ages. So with what you've been doing, I want you to see if you could, what are 2 tips that you can share on how people can get noticing? 2 things that have worked for you, with your bucket list, with your networking, with yourself, with your book, and with your speaking. Any of that, out of any of those, what are the top tips that you use to say, hey, here I am, here's my light?
I think it's knowing what is your strength or your zone of genius, because I'm not, even though I love writing my book and that, it's not what lights me up. What lights me up is talking to people. So one, I thought, well, I love podcasts. Why not start a podcast? So I talk to these wonderful people who I've gotten to know all over the world, and yourself included, Trish, you've been on my podcast.
Thank you, yes.
You know, that's a wonderful way of, you know, getting yourself to talk your message as well. Because when you start talking about it all the time, when it doesn't matter wherever you go, whoever you talk to, your message comes out clearly. So I think if your zone of genius is talking, don't feel that you have to do the blog. But if your zone is, you know, doing the blog, do the blog. Find out what actually works for you and use it. I mean, I still do blogs. I still do a bit of writing in that. But what makes me, you know, really light up is doing, you know, interviews with people and doing the podcast. So that's probably one tip, is finding out what really lights you up, because people know that. People know when you get passionate about something. If you, instead of just doing it to tick it off the list, it's what you're actually passionate about. And I suppose the other thing is I love connecting face to face. I feel that, yes, I've got to have a social media presence and that, but to me, it's getting those connections out face to face when we can. And I know it has been difficult because of what we've been through, but we've been able to do it by Zoom. We've got technology there, and we can still make connections. We can still have coffee chats on Zoom, but make the effort to get out. Don't just be those people that sit at home and working on their stuff and expecting everything to come to you. The tip is be visible, be seen. So get out there. Look for speaking gigs. Look for networking events. You don't have to start a networking event like I did, but just go to them. Start talking about and being seen and getting people to know who you are by just getting out there. And I think those are my 2 top tips of how I've been able to get along and get people knowing who I am and what I do.
Awesome. I love it. Stop, rewind, people. Those 2 tips are freaking awesome. And just before I go a bit further, I want to actually pull out that podcast. How did you start with your podcast, real briefly? Was it easy, hard? Yeah. What were the things that you had to look at?
I had to look at what did I want to achieve out of it, who I wanted it for, and what sort of structure. Was it going to be just me? Because I know a lot of people have successful podcasts with just themselves talking, but I really felt I wanted to interview people and talk about their stories. So it's really being clear before you even start, before you set up or find out the technologies, being clear what do you want to get out of it? Mine is connection with people all over the world, because that's where my market is. I want to be an international, global bucket list coach. So I need to be out there. So I think the podcast is very, very important. Just those things. Know what you want it for, who is it for, and what sort of structure that you want to have. So then you can get started from there.
Awesome. And the secret little thing about having a podcast, or something like I do with TV, is that most of your guests do all the talking. Yes. It's a little secret, people, I've just shared with you. Your guests do most of the talking. However, you are always there as the host. So you are still getting known, being seen. So you are giving an opportunity for your guests to get out there. But every time you have one podcast, you're speaking, you're being seen, and you're out there as well. So that's the hidden little gem in having a podcast or something like a web TV. It helps you to get out there, and you also meet awesome people like Leanne. Leanne, who's influenced you the most?
You know, when I started doing, I decided to do some personal development in coaching. just life coaching, more for myself. And then I decided to go further and have a business out of it. But the people who were doing the same sort of things, the people I've met starting their own businesses, I'm really in awe of these people that go, okay, I'm stepping out of what I should do, this job that I'm supposed to do, this path I'm supposed to take, and this is how I'm going to live my life. I'm going to have my own business. So I suppose who's imposed to me most is the ones that are on, at various levels, the ones that are starting, the ones that are like, very much along the path and quite successful now. So I love just hearing people's stories, and that's influenced me on the way. I don't suppose there's one particular person, but more just the people I meet. Everyone I talk to, I get curious about. I want to know more about them. They will influence what I might think about something, because I think, oh, that's another side of something. So I suppose the community I'm part of, and very much, loving what they have to say and listening to them and being curious, is who has influenced me the most.
Awesome. Love it. We all have challenges, and we face a lot of challenges. Sometimes we bounce back from them. Sometimes we learn from them. Now, the best challenges and the way to face them is learn, and the lessons that we can take forward. So all the face that you've been doing, your ups and downs, getting your business going, getting your book going, the networking and all that, what do you think is your biggest lesson that you've learned out of all that?
I think it's more about who I am, because along the way I've been able to go, when I first started, I was thinking, oh, I was so scared, I was so fearful standing up and talking about things. But even just writing the book, I was scared about getting myself out there, because I was putting parts of my story in there. And I thought, oh, people are going to know about me. They're going to start saying things about me. But what I've actually learned is that there's no judgment there. The only judgment is what I take on from people. But really, it's me. It's cathartic getting it out there and being that little bit vulnerable. I don't mean airing all your laundry. No. It's like just letting people know bits about you, what makes you up. And I suppose I've learned a lot more about myself, because that's where I know what I want. I truly know what I want out of life now. I know how I want to live it. I can deal with whatever comes my way. I'll have my times when I'm not up there going, yay, this is a great life. I'll have down days, but I know how not to stay there. I know the things that get me out of that. So that's what I've truly learned, I suppose. The challenge was to get to know me, and I'm always learning about me every day. Even when I'm talking, to someone like you, Trish, something will come out and go, oh yeah, that's me too.
Awesome. Brilliant. And it's, what's really great about that, Leanne, is that getting to know you is a never-ending story. It's a never-ending story. You learn about yourself. Each of us learn about ourselves every day. And it's a story that doesn't stop until you get to that point where the universe says it's time. But if you can be going up to that point and learning things about yourself every day, then it's an absolutely exciting, joyous life with a lot of bucket lists on it.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. You have a free gift for our viewers. Would you like to share, please?
Yeah, I thought I'd give, a bit of inspiration out there on some adventures you could have. So it's 101 inspirational adventures you can get from my website. It'll come up and, straight up as soon as you go to the website, it just pops up. You can sign up for that. And then, it's just a list of 101 things just to get you thinking about what could I do? And even if things don't really seem to you, it's giving you ideas, go, well, maybe I should get out of my comfort zone a little bit. Maybe just pushing myself just a little bit is a bit of fun, because truly that magic is outside that comfort zone. And so if you get some inspiration from these adventures, I'd love to hear about it and let me know, because, it's so much fun. Everyone's different ideas on what they think an adventure is.
Awesome. And that's on your website, and the link will be below. Awesome. And because I just wanted to also pull out really quickly, because the bucket list isn't just travel.
No.
And what are the couple of other things that people can be putting on their bucket list? I want people to realize that, because we always hear bucket list, we think travel, but it's more.
Yeah, most people seem to think travel or ultimate challenges like running a marathon or jumping out of an airplane or something. But what I do is I deal with 12 different categories, and they're just 2 of them, but there's so much more. There's things like, who would you like to meet? It doesn't have to be a celebrity. It can be someone you just want to meet and sit down and have a conversation with. It could be things like kindness to others. What can you do to serve others? It's things like idiotic stuff, like do something fun. Take the seriousness out of life. What's something fun? Like I want to get on one of those mechanical bulls just to have a go and fall off and see what happens. It's just having fun and a range of things, and exploring your backyard, knowing what your local town has, things like that. So yeah, it's very much more than just ultimate challenges in travel.
And that's what some of those things are on that inspirational adventures checklist. That's why I want to bring that out, because I think that's a freebie that you should probably go and download, because it's going to change your life. It basically will, because it'll take you outside that comfort zone and open up areas that you never thought about. And the byproduct of that is creativity, because if you start opening up areas like Leanne's talking to you about on a bucket list, and you start pushing yourself, then everything else in your business starts to change as well.
Yeah, it can't not change you. You're a different person as soon as you tick something off, whether it's for your business or your personal life or relationships, whatever. You can't be the same person. You are a different person on the other side.
Awesome. Leanne, thank you so much for sharing your bucket list, your journey, and some brilliant gold nuggets, people, that Leanne shared. Gold nuggets about podcasting, gold nuggets about networking, gold nuggets about being yourself and knowing yourself. It's one of the biggest things. People want to connect with the person behind the business, the person behind the book. They want to know who the real you are. And what Leanne shared, awesome gold nuggets on how to let people know who you are as a person, and also how to discover who you are yourself. So thank you for sharing those. Absolutely delighted to have you here.
You're so welcome. I've loved it, Trish. Thank you.
Thank you. People, you've been watching Get Known, Be Seen Web TV. I'm your host, Trish Springsteen, and it's my delight to bring this to you. Now, Get Known, Be Seen Web TV has two components to it. The first one is for people who are taking a deep breath and have suddenly got something new, a new business, a new product, a new app, a new service, a new book, that they're suddenly saying, right, I want people to find me. So they come on and share that, and I give them a space for them to share all the stuff that they're doing so more people can find them. The second component is I bring on experts who share their strategies, their techniques, ways that they've stood out there and to get known, be seen. And today we've had a person here who's done both of those for us. She's shared some of her strategies and techniques, but she's also stood up and say, hey, here I am. So if you would like to be a guest on my show, just contact me. My details are below. You can send me a message, leave a comment, or PM me, and I will arrange for you to be on my show and get up there, be seen, and share your message. Now, if you would like me to be on your show, because I actually adore being a guest on shows as well, if you'd like me to be a guest on your show, or you would like me to come and speak at your function, conference, event, whether it's in person or online, again, contact me. You can go to my website, download my media package. I would be delighted to have a conversation on how I can share some of my expertise, story, and passion with you. Now, before you go, don't forget there is one extremely important thing you have to do. At the bottom here, there is a big button that says subscribe, people. Hit that subscribe button, because if you hit that subscribe button, you will always be advised whenever I have a new guest, just like Leanne, who's coming on to share pearls of wisdom and gold nuggets with you. Until next time, don't forget to download Leanne's little checklist. Think about your bucket list. You're becoming complacent. It's a time that you stepped outside that comfort zone. Have an awesome time. Bye.